Okay. Today we are here to discuss with you for our microeconomics class for Mr. Gold, our market analysis, which is over benefits and compensation manager. Today we're going to discuss with you what it is, the requirements that you need for this position, the supply and demand, and the pros and cons. And with me I have Dylan, Ran, and Anthony, who's our awesome cameraman that's going to be discussing this field with us today. And that brings me to our first part, what it is. And compensation and benefits managers plan, develop, and oversee programs to determine pay for employees. So basically what we do is we handle the insurance, we handle the payroll, we handle the retirement, the 401k, the long-term and short-term disability. And this is a huge, important position because we're the ones that handle the employees, we take care of them. And that brings me into our requirements, which Rand will discuss.
I'll first talk about school. You need a bachelor's degree with management classes, human resources classes, accounting classes, and finance classes. Also, having the master's degree will give you the opportunity to increase the position. Also, talking about certification, you'll talk about Employee Retirement Income Security Act and the Certified Employee Benefit Specialist. These are both certifications that need to be graded above 70. We talked to alumni, which were two of them, who had School of Avila and certifications, and they told us that the best thing to do right now will be networking, which will lead me to experience. You need to have 3 to 7 years experience in management and human resources. Now that I'm finished talking about requirements, I'd like to talk about Taylor about pros and cons.
Okay. And for our pros and cons, our first one that we have for our pro is salary. This is a huge thing. It also goes hand in hand with how we get paid as well. The average salary right now for someone who has a bachelor's degree and like 3 years of experience or a little more gets paid $102,000 a year. 25% that we saw on one website is 86, which is the lowest amount, so $86,000 is the lowest. And then the highest you can get, which 75% are usually the ones that have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, and probably 7 years or more experience, make over $117,000 a year. And now we're going to go into the progression part. Progression is great for this field as a pro because we can start out as an assistant, we can work our way up to senior, and even you can make it up to director. And then the company diversity is another huge thing because this is not just one field that you stay in just one specific company. You can work in healthcare, you can work in a construction company, you can work for a school, you can go anywhere. And then limited travel, we sit in a desk, so we don't get to travel all over the place and do all that. And then for our cons, the sluggish job growth, this is a hard job to have due to the requirements that you need for schooling, the experience that you need, the certification. So there is only 3% of us for this field that have this requirements and everything. Work experience, that we covered that. Overtime hours, 80 plus hours. You work long hours because you got to make sure everybody's paid, you got to make sure everybody's got their insurance taken care of. Sometimes you got to work at home, sometimes you got to come in on the weekends. And then our last thing that we have is updated on legal aspects. You have to make sure that you're staying up to date on everything because things change, rules change, and so getting certified every year, going to classes to learn new things helps. And now we're going to go into a supply and demand. Dylan?
Yeah, so basically, hitting off some of the points she touched, the supply is overall kind of low because of the experience needed and the credentials you have to be able to obtain this job. The demand for the job is fairly high because of the retention of employees being so important. Obviously, in an organization, having a low turnover rate and having employees want to work for you is of the utmost importance. And how this is achieved by is through the benefits and compensation of the employees, taking care of them. And all of this is graphically shown here in the demand and supply shifts right here. So now that we've discussed the job description, the requirements, pros and cons, and the supply and demand, you can take that information and run with it. Thank you.